It is Alessa from That Disney Girl, obviously, who else would it be? But instead of starting at Magic Kingdom, I just thought we'd get like a little bit of a better view. Is that, can you even see? Okay, I'm gonna flip it around so you can see it's so pretty. Okay, are you guys ready for the tour no one asked for? Okay, perfect. So there is the Polynesian right over yonder, and then here is going to be the Grand Floridian, of course, looking so stunning. And then obviously the monorail line like goes everywhere. Right there is the buses when you're like staying on property, and you could go there. There's the boats in the water bringing all the fun guests to Disney World. And then over there, I feel like I'm just pointing the camera and like saying it's there and it's the same shot every time. I hope you know where to look. But that's the monorail station, and the entrance to Magic Kingdom is in those trees there. And then obviously the happiest place on earth is right here. Ooh, ooh, did you catch that? I just said the happiest place on earth is the most magical. Ah, throw me out of Magic Kingdom. Okay, but while we're up here, important things must be done. AKA drinking this.
So with the TikTok, I know you said you hope it brings people together. What kind of information in TikToks are you gonna keep working on? Is it gonna be, I know we talked about more about Universal stuff. Is it gonna be Disney? Are you gonna go into other things also, or are we just gonna stick to theme parks stuff?
Right now, I think I think theme parks, but also I do like a lot of like fashion and that sort
Right.
of stuff as well, which are still kind of theme park related. But I think like right now that's kind of the genre I'm sticking in, but as well as I'm gonna bring a lot of the stuff that I was doing on YouTube to it, which like on YouTube that was very like research based information, like about like facts and like history things about different theme park attractions or extinct things or abandoned ideas that were at Disney, or like talking to like the Imagineers who created a lot can't speak a lot of the rides. So I'm going to start bringing a lot of that stuff in, so it's not just super right now I feel like I'm in a very like fashion based direction, and I want to pull that stuff in because it's the reason that like I kind of started all this stuff and I really enjoy it. So hopefully other people do as well. I know that can be super niche, but it still is like, I think a lot of really cool things can come out like of finding these really interesting facts, and it can enhance any vacation at any theme park if you know like, oh, you know what used to be there? It was this, and like this all happened, and I learned it once in this like 30-second video online. So I think it'll definitely stick in like the theme park direction. I just think I'm going to try to be more informational in terms of a lot of those like interesting facts and that sort of stuff, putting that back into my work again. But in terms of like, I'll talk about like news and that sort of stuff a lot on like stories, but I don't often prioritize that in a TikTok unless it's maybe like huge news. Like if something crazy happens at Disney, I'll talk about it. But I think a lot of the stuff I do is very evergreen, whereas like, you know, you could watch it today or you could watch it in like a month and it's still going to be equally as interesting or relevant, which on TikTok is like, I think an important thing too, because although something timely can get you views in that moment, sometimes I'll have videos from like 3 months ago that are still doing, you know, well, and it's because it's not dated. Maybe it is dated, but it's relevant no matter when you see it. So for me, I really like that kind of content because it just makes like everything that I do valuable for a longer amount of time.
You know, let's go into some of these audience questions, and some of them have to
Sure.
do with your TikTok, and some of them have to do with some other things. We'll move forward through that. So, do you remember your first trip to Orlando? That's the first question.
Like barely because so
Yeah,
I'm
you were one,
26.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like I went for the 25th anniversary. I have like a bare memory of seeing the Pink Castle, like bare memory.
Yes.
Like I don't even know if it's like if it is a memory or if I've decided it's a memory. Like this, because I've seen video footage from like I literally transported like not like I changed over our like little videotape footage onto a CD-ROM
Right.
from then, just so I could like see what it looked like. And it's all that like grainy old school footage. So I feel like I remember maybe a glimpse of it, but I think the trips that I remembered are probably when I was like more in the like maybe when I was like 3 or something like that. I could maybe pick up a few more details then, but I definitely don't fully remember my first Disney trip.
No, that's fine. I understand that. Going young and, that's pretty reasonable. Not remembering all that stuff. So let's move on to the next audience question. What is your dream day at the parks?
Whoa. There is, okay, this is my dream day. There is a tour and it costs $12,000. It is insane. I think it's 12,000 or 10,000. I forget the name of the tour, but it's not, it's like, there's like a VIP level tour and this is way above that. Like it is, I think it's 12,000 for the first day and every other day you want to add on is 10,000.
Wow.
And it is in that tour, they will bring you to see the Cinderella Castle Suite. It is the only tour it is the only way you could pay.
You're talking about Disneyland then?
Oh, no, in
Disney
Magic
World.
Kingdoms.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney World's Disneyland has that Royal 21, or they have a dinner sort of thing that you can get into that suite that they made for Walt's family. But inside of Cinderella's castle, I would love to see that freaking suite. I want to see it so bad. So if I could like, if money was out of the question, if I was able to do that tour and I could see that room, that would be amazing. I heard they just refurbished it, so I would love to see what it looks like now. If I could stay in that room, that would be like chef kiss, so great. But I think like being able to like do that or get to like see behind the scenes of some attractions, like this sounds so weird, but I would love for Haunted Mansion to break down in the attic scene and for me to have to do an evacuation there, because there is so much interesting detail and like things about the storyline in that room that I feel like you never get to see. This is like the nerdy side of me coming out. But like that would be awesome. Yeah, so that would be my two things. I want to see Cinderella's Castle Suite and I want Haunted Mansion to break down in the attic room, which I feel like is not what anyone would, well, maybe the Castle Suite, but not anyone would want that for their own vacation.
Right.
But those two things would be really awesome. So I guess my perfect day would be in Magic Kingdom.
I was thinking of Walt's suite in Disneyland.
Oh yeah,
they built it in the what was it, the firehouse they built?
Firehouse, yeah. I think they have a tour that shows people, and I don't know as much about the Disneyland tours. I would love to see anytime any area in Disney that they say you can't go in, I would love to go in. So like being able to do anything like that would really make me excited.
Well, I got stuck in Toy Story Midway Mania, which was kind of a disaster because I was the last person evacuated out of the ride, and also Spaceship Earth, which I don't know if you've
interesting one.
You can be walking, I mean, I like to work out, but you could be walking down a lot of stairs if you get stuck on that ride. So it wasn't really fun, and that was pretty much a disaster in plain English. But to go into this question, you just spoke about, and I assume that this is probably a no, but since you just said you'd like to see a lot of places in Disney where people don't go, I assume you were not a CP then.
No, I never was a CP. It's a little bit more difficult when you're in Canada to do the programs. There is one for Canadians, but it's a much shorter program. It's not a 6-month program. I think it's a 3-month program. And it happens over the summer. So you can't do it like while you're in school. And it just I never applied because I was confused as to what it was. Like I only knew about the American CP thing. I wish I did. But yeah, I was never a CP because of that. Although like I would have loved to do it when I was in university or college. That would have been awesome, but it just didn't happen for me.
We have beautiful housing now at the Flamingo Crossing.
Oh, it looks awesome. It looks so good.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but I've seen pictures. It's beautiful over there. I assume they finished the whole shopping center in general. I know there's people staying in the Crossing apartments, but we'll move to this. Now, this is a multiple question, so we'll take this one at a time. So,
Sure.
your favorite Disney park?
This one is difficult because I feel like it changes for me so often. But right now, um, I think right now it's Hollywood Studios, mostly because um I like going to Baseline Tap House and getting a drink
Okay.
there, and then just kind of like hanging around in that area. It's also like one of the closer ones to my house. It's easy to get to. Like you don't need to get on a monorail, which is like I don't mind doing it for Magic Kingdom, but like getting out of Magic Kingdom at park close is always such a like
Disaster.
mission. Yeah, so I don't like doing that. But I think like the convenience of Hollywood Studios just for me is why I like it. And like
Yeah.
it's a great place that if I'm like to friends, if like the reservations are open, instead of like going to like let's hang out at a restaurant, I'll be like, oh, let's just go there. And like the vibes always are very like to me like more relaxed and chill.
Mhm.
So that's why I like it. And I love Tower of Terror too. So being able to ride that whenever is always a plus in my books.
Baseline Tap House is where Writer's Stop used to be, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure that I'm remembering things correctly. What is your favorite ride at Disney or
Um,
Universal if you want to go there, or both, whatever you want to say?
sure. I could do both. Disney, it's Carousel of Progress because of
Right.
the history of it. I love it so much. No one likes that ride very much, but I love it. And at Universal, I don't know what I would put as like my number one. I think right now it might be Hagrid's, just in terms of like a thrill attraction. Um, but yeah, I think I'd say Hagrid's because it's a really good storytelling roller coaster. There's like dark ride elements
Mhm.
inside of a thrill attraction, which I think is really cool. It's like the most themed coaster I've ever seen. In terms of like, I'm not a fan of screens. I like it when they like build something
Right.
instead of making it into like a screen attraction. So because that ride actually built something, I really liked that element. And like I think they could have done screens and it would have been easier, but they didn't. And I was like, thank you.
What is your opinion with the screens at Universal? Do you think they've kind of went overboard and there's no real attraction there besides ET, I guess, that you would say that's like a nostalgia attraction where
Mhm.
Disney has so many, especially at the Magic Kingdom, Small World, Peter Pan's
Yeah.
Flight, Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, we could go on and on. But Universal doesn't have that.
Yeah. Universal has definitely lost a lot of like, I guess like their classic opening day, or maybe not opening. Some stuff isn't just opening day. They barely opened with much, but a lot of
Right.
like the first few years of attractions that like, that's when all of that stuff came into play. So like, I wish that like, I love Jaws and like, even I would take Back to the Future over the Simpsons ride. I can't ride the Simpsons ride anymore. It's like way too motion sickness for me. But as like I loved Back to the Future. I don't know if I would be able to ride it today, but as a kid, I was not motion sick. Um, I'm like again, I'm not a fan of any screen
Yeah.
ride really. It was super cool at one point, like when the Amazing Spider-Man came out at Universal, like
That
when
was a
that
good
ride
ride.
came out, I was like, this is awesome. Like we've never seen something like this before. But now we've seen it like a lot. And I feel like we've seen them also do even better than that. So when you see it go revert back to a screen, knowing that it can be done better or something different can happen, that's when I'm like, oh, come on. But I'm just really hoping that with the new park that they're going to take it in a direction of like not as many screens and creating maybe some more like unique attractions. Because like if you go at Hollywood, Secret Life of Pets,
Yeah.
which is one of the best dark rides I've ever been on. They did amazing. It is such a good ride. Like the queue is one of the best like queues I've been in. The ride is amazing. Everything is so good. And I'm like, this is a good ride. Like do more of that. It is so cool.
Well, they were talking about maybe doing that where Shrek was, but I heard that's been put to rest now, and they're going to do some kind of Minion thing.
Yeah, it's like the Minion. I always had this thing that like I feel like Universal is tricking us with the Minions thing. I
You
just in
think
my
so?
mind I can't imagine that they would put a Minions ride next to another Minions ride. Like I'm just like, do people like Minions that much? To right at the front of your like movie park, like it just seems like that. Like you shouldn't do that. But maybe I'm wrong. Like I feel like they're tricking
I
us.
hope you're right. I mean,
From what I've seen like people talk about patents, and I think it's gonna be like a moving walkway type of walkthrough attraction for like half of that building, and I think the other half of the building they're keeping it so that it could still be used as a Halloween Horror Nights house, I think. So I don't think they're going to use all of the theaters that like Shrek was using for whatever they're creating now. But I'm just hoping that it's not Minions.
yeah,
But
it's terrible.
at least one thing I do like is the rumor that I feel like is true, that Universal Monsters are going to come to Epic Universe, because I feel like that has like a sense, at least it's a different sense of nostalgia because we haven't really ever had that, but like it is these like old classic Universal characters. So hopefully that is very true and that does pan out and we get like something cool there that kind of like pulls back to like the roots of it all. But I do miss like all of those things. I wish there would be a way to like bring them back, and like I feel like they're like really trying to with like you were talking about earlier, the tribute store right now and that sort of stuff, to be like, we still love it. And they know that their people love it too, so I'm sure that that plays into why they did it. But yeah, that's really long-winded to me saying I don't like screens.
No, yeah, no, it's fine. You know, I know Monsters Cafe just got shut down. That was a hit for a lot of people. And the only thing left really, you know, unless, like you said, was what they do is put monsters in the new park, is basically the horror show. They have like,
Yep.
and I know they have a store over there too with the monsters stuff. But other than that, there's not really much left there. And it seems like, you know, even Earthquake, I was a huge fan of that when I was a
I like
kid.
that one too. I
Yeah.
would much rather, I think that's what Fallon took over, right?
No, Fast and
Or
Furious.
Fast,
Because they had
forgot, yeah.
Beetlejuice and was
Love
there.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah. And I know they had the house with that, but it's just like, and I know he pumps up the crowd for the horror makeup show, but regardless, if the Beetlejuice show is good, you know, they don't really have any shows besides the animal show at that park. It's just kind of getting a little too screenish for me, like you said, and it's just not good. But
Yeah, I actually do hope to see more like entertainment come to Universal. That would be like a really big show of some sort. That would be cool, but we'll
right.
see.
You know, I love, and I know I'm a dude, but I I do like, because maybe I have a lot of people that I know work there. I do like the Frozen show. I have a lot of friends that used to work at the American Idol experience that work at, you're one of the few people that actually told me that they liked that show.
I was in it. I loved it. I have
Really?
memories.
You
yes.
sang, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow,
won.
good
I
for
won the
you.
ticket.
Wow. Yeah. No,
So
I
I
used to
have
go
really
with
cool memories from that show.
the last day before that closed, because I knew everybody in there pretty much that was an actor. In fact, some of them still work at Frozen. But the last day they before they closed, I went to every show. I actually called off from my job. I don't work there anymore,
Amazing.
so it's okay. So I went to the 5 shows there, and it was just really, because I like that show because, and I don't want to get on a rant on that show, but I like that show because it was different every time. You'd have some good
Yep.
singers, real good singers, and you'd have some real bad singers. You know, and it was fun and it was good, and the judges were great, and it was just some of those people really work in movies and stuff. In fact, I've interviewed on my show, quite a few of the judges that some still work at Disney and some have, went to something else. But
One of the judges I saw, I remember I knew her from a movie I had seen recently, like when I saw her when I was there. So I
who's
forget her
that?
name.
What do you know the name or no?
She was I know she was blonde. That's all I can get. And like maybe like
Right.
not in her 20s. Like I don't like
There was none of them in their
yeah,
20s.
like yeah, I'm gonna say she's like a little bit more matured than that. But you're also talking like I was 16 years old when I did it, so I
Oh,
was way
wow.
younger.
Okay, so you did it quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they actually, a lot of those, some of those people used to work, some went to Frozen, some went to Indiana Jones when it closed. And
Hmm.
then some were working like Mulch, Sweat and Tears. The show, it used to come out at night, the
Oh yeah,
Rocks.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
some people used to do that. Some people used to do Citizens of Hollywood. But they got rid of all that stuff. So besides Frozen and Indiana Jones, there's no Most Sweat and Tears. There's no Citizens of Hollywood since
I
the
know.
pandemic. I mean,
I wish
Disney
there
really,
was back.
yeah, Disney got rid of all that stuff. Anyways, but so that would be my favorite show. What would be one of your favorite shows, whether it's at studios? I guess that's pretty much where all the shows are at Disney.
Yeah. Um, Beauty and the Beast is my
Right.
favorite show. I'm just like that is my like I love Belle and Beauty and the Beast so much. Like as a kid, that is like my like go-to everything. And it was the reason that Hollywood Studios was my favorite park
Hmm.
as a kid was because of that show. And I know that it's like dated and blah blah blah, but like I still like it. I think it's still fun. And like I just really like that show. So that's definitely my favorite show.
This is just a question from me. Do you know what's going on with the Voyage of the Little Mermaid? It still has not opened up since the pandemic. A lot of people, it's not their favorite show, but it is still, the woman in there actually do sing. I actually
Yeah.
dated a girl that did play Ariel in that show, and they have to do voice tryouts. That's like a legit thing. It's not a
Yeah.
recording.
Um, yeah, I mean, and they have to sing a lot during the day because, like, I'm
Yeah,
assuming that there maybe
it's
is a
quite a few
rotation of
shows.
performers, but like you're singing part of your world so much. But I'm 99.9% sure. I just haven't read about this in a hot minute, but 99.9% sure it's completely like axed. Like I think Disney
Yeah.
confirmed that it is fully gone, but I could be wrong that Disney confirmed it, but I'm pretty sure that they confirmed it.
I
Like if
was told that they were going to close down that whole area with Voyage of the Little Mermaid, Star Wars Launch Bay,
Mhm.
and also the Disney Junior, and either extend out Pixar or do something. I don't know what they would do with Walt's Dream, but
Yeah, I've heard like different rumors and stuff like that. Um, Someone told me a rumor, even though this can't happen, I don't think like about like bringing Marvel into the park there. Like
yeah.
right now, that can't happen until like the contract with Universal expires and everything. But like maybe they could bring some characters in the way that they brought like Guardians of the Galaxy in, because that's not like there's some characters that like don't fall into the contract. So maybe they could like find a way, but I'm not sure what they're doing with that section. But I also did hear that like basically you have a lot of dead space there right now, and like I heard they're going to do something with it, but I don't know, maybe that's something that I don't foresee us like learning more about that this year.
I thought that they would bring Guardians of the Galaxy into Hollywood Studios instead of Epcot. I know they have Mission Space next to Guardians of the Galaxy, and obviously Test Track is in that area too. Obviously, Test Track has nothing to do with space, but Mission Space and Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy is a space thing. But it seemed like because, and I think they just ruined Hollywood Studios. It's basically Star Wars, and with a couple things mixed in, and Toy Story Land with a couple things mixed in. I know they changed Tower of Terror in California. That's why I thought maybe they would put the Guardians of the Galaxy in there, kind of to play off that,
I'll riot.
thrill ride theme. Yeah. But anyways, whatever. I really just feel like they screwed up that park. Let's move into restaurant. Favorite restaurant at Disney?
Oh gosh. I don't even know what my answer to this would be. I feel like I should. I think it would, like, this isn't even in a park, but it would be at Disney Springs.
Mhm.
But Boathouse, I think,
Yeah.
is just like always 10 out of 10, like amazing food and a good time and a good atmosphere. Yeah, so I'll go with Boathouse. Like if there's somewhere that like I want to bring someone to be like, this is gonna be good food and you're gonna enjoy yourself. I think that I would pick there. If I was in a park, maybe like Via Napoli at Epcot.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
that's
And
a
we'll move.
classic.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Resort.
Um, I feel like I jump around this, but I think Boardwalk
Yeah,
for
okay.
the like it's such a cool atmosphere. Like you have the whole, there's so much there to do, but like Polly and Grand Floridian are still like up in there for me. I've never stayed at Polynesian or Grand Floridian though, so I don't have that experience yet, but I really like seeing the fireworks from the beach at the Polynesian. That's like to me one of the best ways to see the fireworks, especially these fireworks, because I'm not a fan. But and they have like, you know, Trader Sam's and all that sort of stuff. So that I think that stuff's really cool with those resorts. But Boardwalk aesthetic is very like, I just really like it.
So if you're a boardwalk person, are you more of a Skyliner type person or a monorail person?
Um, I think I think I like the Skyliner better.
Mhm.
Maybe just because like
Same.
it's always moving and I feel like it like moves, it does its job quickly. Um, and even at the end of the night, I feel like it doesn't create the chaos that the monorail creates. And
Well,
also,
listen, Epcot at the end of the night is a disaster to go on the not the monorail, the Skyliner. And if you get there around 7, 8 o'clock, that line is pretty
is it
bad.
bad?
Yeah, do not try that. And studios is the same deal. But if you're in one of the resorts, you're probably okay, as far
Yeah,
as that
well,
goes.
especially in the mornings, like when you
Yeah, it's a
sometimes, you know, you
disaster.
just miss the bus taking off and you're like, oh, I have to wait another 20 minutes. If you have a Skyliner, you have to wait like 10 seconds and then you could like,
Right.
it's usually not too packed if you're at a resort in the morning. Um, but I also just like that any park with a Skyliner, you do not have to take the Skyliner to get there. But with a monorail like Magic Kingdom, you basically, unless you are at a resort, you have to take the monorail. Like there's no other option, which is why it becomes so like crowded. And I think because of that, it's made me, not that I love the monorail, of course, it's like iconic for Disney, but
Right.
I hate taking it at the end of the night. I literally stay away from Magic Kingdom at the end
Yeah.
of the night all the time. So I think that's why I prefer Skyliner, just because it's, for me, it's more of a peaceful experience. But I also don't take it at the end of the night either.
Well, Skyline is good too, because if you're going to do the park hop, like you stated, you can
Mhm.
park at studios and go to Epcot or
Yeah.
vice versa. But we'll move on from there. Fireworks show.
hmm I miss Happily Ever After. Like I miss it. I miss it. That was like top notch, best fireworks show I've ever seen. It was my number one favorite thing about Walt Disney World. Like I loved that show. I'm so sad.
I
I
miss
like,
Illuminations myself, but that's
okay,
me.
you're an Illuminations person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. Like I wish it was back. I know that they said it's not coming back, but I hope that like because there's been so much like I feel like people talking against them not bringing it back, that maybe like my dream would be that they bring it back and they enhance it with Main Street projections. Like that
Mm.
they're able to do Main Street projections to Happily Ever After as a show and that we get it back. But that's just me because I love that show.
All right. Favorite Disney character, and I know you've done a lot of dressing up as different characters, different people on your TikTok. So, if you want to just tell us who your favorite character is.
Sure, it's Winnie the Pooh. So not a princess. If it was a princess, it would be Belle, but she's probably up there like top three or something. But yeah, I think Winnie the
Why
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh?
I just like, I don't know. I feel like it's like a sense, like I like watched a lot of Winnie the Pooh stuff. I read the books when I was a kid, and I feel like it's just like a sense of comfort as a character.
Mhm.
Just really adorable, and there's not much more to it than that.
All right. So we're going running down to time, and I I appreciate that. So we'll end with these last three questions. I want to talk more about your TikTok, but we'll save that for another time. A Disney movie.
For best Disney movie,
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna say Tangled right now. I just feel like
Okay.
it's a movie that I can easily watch over and over and over again, and I don't get sick of it. If it was Pixar, I'd say Coco, but that's a movie that I can't watch it. It makes me cry like buckets. Like I'm bawling, but I know it's amazing. So it's like I'm in this weird thing where I'm like, I want to watch it again, but I'm gonna have a literal headache from the tears that it's gonna bring to me. So I don't, but I really like, I think that's an amazing, like the music and everything in that movie I really like. So for Pixar, I'd go there. And for Disney, I think right now I've just really been enjoying Tangled the past few years. Like I'll put it on every like couple months. So,
What is the craziest thing you have done at Disney?
but I feel like off the top of my head, I can't think of like an insanely wild thing I did.
Okay.
But a cool thing I did, I guess, was like when the 50th anniversary happened, I got to go there for the media.
Right.
And like I got to, I guess most people don't know this unless you're watching the live stream. When they did the fireworks show, they dedicated the park again, with Iger and Chapek did the dedication, and then after that Christina Aguilera came out and sang Reflection. So that was really cool. I saw like Christina Aguilera singing on the castle with like nobody around me because there was such a small event compared to what it would usually have, like, you know, in Magic Kingdom it'd usually be packed, and it was not packed at all because it was just a small like group of people. So yeah, being able to like do that and like see her perform there, and then even like that was my first time seeing Enchantment, and I remember like I got emotional just because it was like I thought it was such a cool experience, like just to be like, when can I ever watch the fireworks with literally nobody around me? Like if I was on Main Street and there was no one anywhere, like the person was like 20 feet away from me, the next closest person. So it was like, to me, that's a really cool experience. So that was awesome. So maybe that's like most recently the most crazy thing that I've experienced at Disney.
So I want to talk about your TikTok. So you do have some TikToks that people wrote about. The first one is about Epcot's biggest secret. If we can go through
Yeah.
that.
Was that the one with the sinkhole?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So there's like I didn't know this. I thought it was so cool when I found out that there is Epcot was built on Florida's largest sinkhole. And that's the reason that they have like the lagoon by the Odyssey building. All of that had to be water because it's literally on a sinkhole, and they couldn't like build anything on top of it. I think I even read, and I think I said this in the TikTok, that there were cars literally falling into this sinkhole when they were building Epcot, and they were like, we got to do something about this. So that's why they built that lagoon in that section. But I just think it's pretty cool that they're like, we're going to build this giant theme park right here, and it's also going to be on the largest sinkhole in Florida, which in Florida there's so many sinkholes too. So to be the largest one at Disney World is like, what are the odds?
Thumbs up or thumbs down on Guardians of the Galaxy. I know you did a TikTok about that with Don't Ride That Drunk.
Yeah,
Not-
I just wrote it today.
okay.
For me, it's a massive thumbs up just because I'm like, it's a fun coaster. It's totally different than any other coaster I've been on in terms of the way that it swivels. I feel like I'm like Groot in the second Guardians movie when like everything's blowing up around him and he's just like waving his arms in the air and like having a blast. Like that's what I feel like. It feels like very carefree. I like that there's different music selection in the ride. It's one of the rides that I actually don't mind that they have the screens going on because I feel like you're not always looking at the screens. It just like comes at times. But I really like the ride. I think it like enhances Epcot in terms of like having a thrill aspect, which it like, I mean, Test Track you have there, but I don't find Test Track very thrilling. Like I think this is more thrilling attraction. And I usually get motion sick, which is why I don't like screens. But this ride hasn't made me motion sick. I've done it 5 times now.
Wow.
Yeah, so the first time I did it 3 times back to back, and I was okay.
Wow.
So I feel like for me, like I can't do mission space or anything like that. So if I was able to do that, I think it's okay. But then again, like I said in that TikTok, like someone yacked this morning, so maybe I don't trust my word, maybe, but like I think it's okay.
A last question. You did this on YouTube, and the person's writing about that you had a Disney hit workout on YouTube.
Yeah, that was like the first time I ever went viral, which was just during the pandemic. I just had this idea. I had a friend who she was doing workout videos, just like, on Zoom, and I was like, oh, we should do this to like a Disney song and put it on my channel. So we did that, and then it really blew up like insanely. We did a couple, I think we did 4 parts to it. She ended up actually starting a YouTube channel, and she's like a massive workout influencer now. And it all stemmed from this like one idea for a video, which is pretty crazy. It's another weird situation where like I got really popular for exercise, and I am not a gym instructor. So people were like, let's do more. And I'm like, I can't teach you. I like to work out, but I'm just not like, I'm not a fitness person. So that was like a weird, similar to the Grinch, where it's like getting popular for not what I usually do on like a day-to-day basis in terms of content creation. But that video and those workouts are still, I think, amazing and will make you drip in sweat, and you'll have fun doing them. So I think that's why they got extremely popular. It was like the first time people were sweating so much and not like hating their life while they were doing it.
Would you ever work for Disney? Because a lot of people that are huge Disney fans, I personally have worked for Disney in the past, and I feel like sometimes it takes away the magic if you're working there. Would you ever work for Disney, or is that going to take away the magic if you did work for them?
I think the only way, or the job that I would want to do if I ever worked for Disney, would be to become an Imagineer and actually help create like some of the rides and attractions, and like help with like the storylines of attractions and that sort of stuff. But in order to do that, I would need to I need to go back to school. So it's something I've toyed around with, because that's always been something I really wanted to do, is like help make a ride. Like I think that would be so awesome, to have my hand in like that. And even just like I love storylines of rides, like when you like the things that you don't notice of like things, even like when I say like I want Haunted Mansion to break down in that attic scene, it's because there's like you can see all of the people that like the bride has killed, and all the memorabilia of the husband, and like how he connects to like the guy who met like Master Gracie, who like is the person who brings you in. Like I just love the way that everything is connected and nobody knows about it. But I love that sort of stuff. So I would love to see more of like a lot of these, to be able to bring non-IP characters and non-IP attractions, so like things that are not based off of a movie, to the park, like to have more original attractions. Those are my favorite attractions, and they're the ones that I think are often the most detailed and like in depth. So if I could like ever have my hand in helping to create something like that, that would be like a pretty big dream for me. But aside from that, I don't know what I would do there.
All right, we'll end with that. Alessa, thanks so much for coming on. Can you tell people where they can follow you and find you again?
Yeah, for sure. So on YouTube, it's That Disney Girl. And then on Instagram, it's _ That Diz Girl. I'm pretty active on Instagram. And then on TikTok, it's just That Diz Girl, and I'm super active on there as well. So yeah, those 3 places are where you can come find me.
What is the Amazon you have account, if you want to tell people about that also? I know you have this, it says That Disney Girl Amazon.
Yeah, if you like see my TikTok, you'll see a lot of it is like fashion based and like a lot of Disney bound. So like normal outfits that are inspired by a Disney character. I buy almost everything off of Amazon. So I have it in my link tree on both Instagram and TikTok. And those are basically just like links to all of the clothing pieces and accessories that I wear in the videos, because a lot of the times people really like, one of my biggest requests are always like, where did you get this from? So I just try to put it there so everybody has access to it. But yeah, so if you ever like something I wear, 9 times out of 10, you could probably find it in that link.
All right. Alessa, thanks so much. And people should definitely follow her to get the most updated fashion, Disney, everything in the kitchen sink. Again, that Disney girl, check it out. Alessa, thanks so much for your time tonight. Hopefully we can do this again down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. This was great.